About the snow emergency. Chrissy, I should have talked to you ahead of time. Chrissy and I and Sarah kind of hammered out some sort of, I'm going to call it ADD, and I know that's wrong.
ICS.
Okay.
AAR.
AAR.
That.
Accident
Okay,
after
AAR.
after accident
After
response.
action review.
After action review. Oh my gosh. So trying. So we recognize that after our snow incident, that it's really important that while it's still fresh in our mind, that we go through and evaluate what has happened, what our opportunities are to do it better, where we could have done better, and why we didn't do as good, and what resources we need to actually attain the level that we think we should be at, and identify where we should be, and put some goals in place and make some forward motion. So we sat down and created a timeline. Unfortunately, I don't have that in front of me, but it will be coming out in the community very soon. I wish I could share it with you.
Do you want me to speak to it real quick?
Could you?
Yeah.
Would you? That would be awesome if you could.
So I helped coordinate volunteers in the response, and we were definitely responding on the fly and pulling it together as we went, and it went really good. We learned a lot of really good things about how many resources this community has within itself, and so that's why we talked about holding after action reviews to talk about what went well and what we can improve on. So we want to hold an internal after action review for everybody that was on the response team or volunteer for 3 or more days during response, and that will be April 6th in the morning at Greenwaters Park. We're going to be working on getting the invites out tomorrow, and then we will be holding an interagency after action review to work with all of our partners that help support us, both within the community and out. That one we're hoping for maybe late April, before we get into the kind of the spring, summer season. But we need to do probably a doodle poll with all the interagency partners and see when they're available. And a big partner we want there on that one is Lane County. And then we're thinking after that, we can take all those lessons learned and have a couple of short reports and use that to feed into our emergency operations plan and improve it.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. And so council is also going to be participating in training. That
Let me
is,
add to one more thing she was saying.
yes, please.
On the after action, we are gonna send out a community survey, and that'll probably come out by the end of this week. And we're gonna make sure that it goes out on social media, the website, in the Dead Mountain Echo paper, as many avenues as we can, so that we're not focusing on one source that it goes out. But we're gonna push that out probably the end of this week, and it's about 5 questions.
Yeah.
So
Just
we're
a
really trying to
short
get
one.
feedback from the community on what you thought was done well and what could be done better and other things like that.
And we'll also want to ask, where did you receive resources from?
Yeah.
You know, if you did reach out for resources, where did you obtain them? So that we can get an idea of what we've done. You know, we will be probably sharing lists of names. We had over 94 people work at volunteer to come and work, and that's just at the fire department, where we had our incident command. And those involved, you know, wellness checks as well as shoveling snow, bringing chainsaws, delivering supplies, making sure that the Red Cross had the items they needed, communications. There was just lots of people involved, and that was just a small part of the community. Every day it seems like I've run into folks that say, oh, you know, I helped my neighbor do this, or my neighbor helped me do this. And it was just a remarkable response from everybody, and I'm so proud of everyone. So anyway, don't say you weren't happy. Cry. Anyway, okay. So I do have something to read though. Robert Chrisman prepared, and this is really cool actually, and I'm going to read this. So in addition to the 40 regular hours of work that the Public Works did, Robert put in 34.5 hours overtime. Shane did 21, Travis did 14.5, and one of our temps, Derek Bell, did 4 extra hours. They did generators for water and wastewater treatment plant up at Elk Meadows, Salmon Creek Estates, Public Works Shop, OIP Booster Station, the East Reservoir Booster Station, and the well fields. These generators are essential to keep the water flowing as well as treatment of the wastewater. During the snow event, Public Works crews pumped 1,300 gallons of diesel into these generators to maintain operation. We also consumed 246 gallons of gasoline in our service trucks and plows to aid in road clearing and support. The fueling station also pumped 48 gallons of diesel for their generators, as well as 182 gallons of gas for their officers. Our fueling station also pumped 116 gallons of diesel into the fire department's generator, 215 gallons of gas into their vehicles. Public Works was also asked to pump fuel into volunteer vehicles, totaling 245 gallons of gas and 17 gallons of diesel. I just kind of am staggered at the numbers and how much fuel it takes to keep a city going when the lights go out. So kudos to them. They did a great job. Let's go on to strategic goals. This is just a discussion item in your packet. I also put a short explanation of what is in here, if I can find it, as I'm coming through everything here. You'll notice that I've also included some pages from our old strategic plan. The 5 priority areas that we had before were beautification of the community, economic development for our region, improved medical facilities and services for Oakridge, youth and community services, internal organizational improvements. The reason I've included this and asked you to think about them is that as we move forward and move into a new CA and work through our budget, we need to be thinking about what our goals will be. The strategic plan expired in 2018. That doesn't mean we don't have it. We can still continue to use it, but I want you to be thinking about, where do you want our goals? What do you want our goals to be? And so the paperwork that I've included behind it is just a piece of the strategic plan that speaks in more detail to each one of those. I would ask council just to take the time over the next couple weeks, reading material, put it on the back of the toilet, whatever, and put some thought into these things. So I'm not asking for any action, just asking for your thought. I've been talking a lot, my throat's getting dry. So let's move to 11.4. This is agenda item 11.4. Council to consider authorization for a representative to collect for review all applications for city administrator position. And I'm going to ask our attorney to speak to this.
Sure. I don't think I need the microphone. I guess I'll just say I'm Matt Dahlstrom. For those who haven't met me, I'm from the law firm of Leahy Cox. And I'll just say to the council, for this specific 11.4, this would just be a clarification to help the council as we've had some turnover with the city administrator position, to have someone who the council believes to be the best person for this job appointed to collect and review these applications for the full-time city administrator position. So if the council so chooses, I think a motion designated one of yourselves, the mayor, someone in staff to do so could be helpful to you.
So I think what we'll do is have discussion about this before we have a motion, because we need to discuss whether you want a motion. So, yes.
One addition to that, it doesn't necessarily need to be one person, it could be 2 people.
Okay.
It could be a committee.
Okay.
It could be a private party.
Thank you. It's a lemon drop. Thank you. Dawn, can you hear us? Are you trying to talk? Because we're getting.
No, I'm not trying to talk. Yeah.
No, thank you. With Tricia, we just hear kind of like underwater stuff, so I want to make sure you're not trying to say something.
No, I'm not. I'm watching it on video.
Oh, live feed, so we may be getting a bit of feedback. Okay, so discussion.
Why can't the attorney collect them paperwork?
Well, I think that's a good question. However, I don't think that I wouldn't want to pay for them to do that when this is a matter of collecting the applications as they come in. They're coming in right now by email. That doesn't preclude that something might come in writing. I don't by mail. So at this point, we're just printing them off, and, I
Can
have,
the,
yes, go ahead.
can the president of the council do it?
We
Chrissy
can,
Holland?
absolutely,
Yeah.
we can ask, and appoint anybody as they come in to hold them. We're not looking to review them as they come in. We need to wait to the
Correct.
closing date, to do that, but it's just a matter of compiling. So I would ask the council to think about what they'd like to do. Bobby?
I kind of feel like a staff person should do it just because they have access to the same email system, they can
I
create.
absolutely don't want staff to do it.
Okay, Don, hold on just a minute, Don.
Because they have the same email system and they can create like a subfolder in the email and just move it all into a subfolder until we get to a time to we're ready to look at it
Okay,
and pull it out.
okay. Any other discussion?
I would like to speak on this.
Okay,
ahead, Trish.
Tricia?
Yeah, I think that it would be great if either the president of the council or the mayor could collect those. However, I think it's important to know what you have on your plate, Kathy, so, maybe it would be best if Chrissy were to collect those.
Go ahead, Chrissy.
I would be willing to do it, but I actually was thinking maybe, myself being a part of a council subcommittee, so myself and 2 other counselors.
Well, we really aren't looking to review them at this
Okay.
time, and council really does need to sit down and follow the advice of those more knowledgeable than us about how to run this. That was we were moving into that direction when with our city administrator as to how we were gonna put this search together. We have not even begun to touch that or complete that, so that's kind of vague. I think at this point, we just are looking to where are we gonna collect these? And I want council to make that decision rather than have it just happen by default.
So these, as they're coming in right now, they're going into the city administrator's email?
They're going into the city administrator's email, and the city recorder has access to the email, and as they come in, is sharing them by email to me, and that's where they're residing right now in a folder, and I'm sure they're in a folder on the city recorder's email and a folder in my email. I haven't printed any of them out, and I would suspect she hasn't either.
That almost sounds like it would be adequate to me.
I am actually I'm comfortable with that, as long as that, that flow keeps going. I'm very comfortable with that, but that's a decision that you.
Yeah, because if we don't, you have your city administrator.
Can we go by the recommendation of the attorney since he's there?
We can certainly ask what their recommendation is. And so as I ask you, what your recommendation is?
Our recommendation is not to pay attorneys to do this.
Okay. Thank you.
That's our first recommendation. Our second recommendation is this is a council hire.
Yeah.
And it should be,
Correct.
if nothing else, it should be very clear that the council or a representative of the council has access to that information coming in and is aware of the status and the applications as they come in, who's applied. This is not a matter that should be ignored by the council. It's a council hire, and you're responsible. And if the mayor is satisfied with the current status, as long as it's understood that the mayor and the council have access to that information, then I'm fine with that too. I'm concerned about you exercising your authority to do what you need to do.
Yeah, and if I'm under.
Yeah, I understand that. That's very good.
Go ahead.
And it seems that we'll either be appointing another interim or a pro tem
Yes.
soon. So there'll be another person in that seat accessing those emails as they come in. So,
Right.
And that should be happening soon.
So maybe I can make a suggestion that the process currently, because we are in this kind of interim spot and no one is at a city administrator email and we're checking it round robin, it's going to me also, that I go ahead and the mayor goes ahead and puts them in a folder and keeps them, and I will keep a running list that is available to you, so you know who has applied and how many we have. I don't think it's appropriate to share them at this time until they're reviewed in their entirety, until it's completed,
Which would be April.
closed, yes. But that would be my suggestion.
It's open until when, April 15th or?
Do you know off the top of your head, Susie, when the closing is? April 15th, thank you.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to entertain a motion, and I agree also with the attorney, Don, that it's important that we take ownership of this, because this is our hire.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's very important to me.
Okay,
Can I come in on a weekly basis or something like
Yeah.
that and just
All of us, well,
give an
probably any of
idea
us
of what we
could.
have?
yeah, I don't have any problem with that, we meet pretty much weekly.
Yeah.
Anyway, and we can do that, and I'm happy to share the numbers with everybody, and let them know how many applicants we have, and what's going.
Dawn, would you be okay with that? And Tricia?
Yes, I would be, and I will be out of this hospital here pretty quick.
Yay!
So then,
So it
currently,
sounds
that,
like any of us who are interested can go in and, just get a figure on it, or is it, cause I would like maybe allowing Christy to also have oversight on those, so maybe both of you.
That would be fine,
Yeah.
that would be fine. And like I said, we still have to institute a process and put into place how we are going to do this, so that will be coming soon.
Yeah.
I mean, once we get a city administrator and can work together to do that.
so then currently it would be mayor, council president, and city recorder.
Correct.
And then in a week or so, city administrator as well,
Yes,
getting the applications.
yes.
You mean interim city administrator, correct?
That is what I meant, correct.
Actually, we're gonna
Okay.
be very careful with that, Dawn, and do it the right way,
So pro temp?
Okay,
or not pro tem, who knows?
So just to be clear, the only person that will be accessing the city administrator's email system will be the city recorder?
Yes, I don't have access
Okay.
to that email, but she does as the admin. We have taken the password off of it, and so the only access is through the admin password.
Okay.
So it's not accessible to anybody else.
Okay.
So, okay. Shall we make a motion? Yes, sir.
Feel free to make a motion. From my perspective, I think there's been sufficient discussion to lay out what the understanding is, but if the council wants a motion. feel
Okay.
free.
So do we have a consensus then,
Yeah.
that the emails that come into the city administrator's email will be checked by the city recorder? She will share any of those applications with me, and then they will be available to the council president, Chrissy Hollett, at any time she would like to look at them. Agreed?
yes.
Okay, agreed. Thank you, council. Let's move on to 11.5. Consideration from council of withdrawal of the complaint filed by the city with the Oregon Bar Association. And I will turn this over to our attorneys.
Can everyone still hear me okay? All right, just wanted to make sure here.
Yes, I can.
Thanks, Don. Councilor Hadley, excuse me. So, the Mayor Holston just briefly explained this item, and I'm gonna go over the facts of this particular item just for the benefit of the council and those here. The facts are that a complaint was filed with the Oregon Bar Association, and the complaint was filed against Sarah Altimus Pope, a resident of Oakridge. The complaint was filed by Susan LeDuc, listing her title as City Recorder of the City of Oakridge. The complaint listed an Oakridge City email account. Are you okay, Ms. Councilor Hadley? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm going to continue. And the complaint listed an Oakridge phone number. This complaint was filed without the approval of the City Council, which our legal opinion is that such a complaint, if it's going to be filed on behalf of the city, should have City Council approval. If the council...
Yes, I agree to that.
Let's let him finish his presentation, Don.
Thank you.
Okay.
If the council so chooses, a motion could direct your attorneys to reach out to the Oregon State Bar and make clear to the Oregon State Bar that complaint that was filed wasn't filed on behalf of the city. I think it's important to note here that nothing in this city action, if any action is to be taken, limits the freedom of any citizen, including citizens who may be employees of the city, in filing a complaint with the Oregon State Bar, as they have free speech rights to act on their own personal behalf. The issue here is a misrepresentation of, or maybe correcting authority that was filed through the complaint. If that makes any questions so far from the council.
Yeah. In other words, we didn't tell them to do it, and it's representing the city, right?
It appears to be representing the city the way that the complaint was filed, and it's our opinion that if a complaint is going to be filed with the Oregon State Bar on behalf of the city, it should be a city council approved complaint.
Correct. Yeah.
Any other questions with me so far? So one additional wrinkle to this is Joe Leahy reached out to the Oregon State Bar, and once a complaint has been filed, the bell has been rung to some extent and can't be unrung for that specific complaint. But what council can do, if the city so directs, is make clear that on behalf of the city of Oakridge, that we no longer want the city of Oakridge's name behind this complaint.
So there isn't a way.
I would like,
Go ahead, Don.
Go ahead.
I would like to know who's liable for that.
Well, we're not here to assess liability because we really don't know the facts other than a complaint was filed on behalf of the city of Oakridge that the city council didn't authorize. We believe that's a council decision to file a complaint against a citizen of Oakridge who's a member of the Oregon State Bar. Now, as Mr. Dahlstrom said, if anybody has a beef with an attorney, file a complaint with the Oregon State Bar if you believe you have a beef. Whether you're an employee of the city or whether you're simply a citizen of Oakridge, that's your right. But to file it on behalf of the city, you don't have that right. The only people that have the right to file a complaint on behalf of the city are the people who are elected by the city as their city councilors. We don't need to go into it any further than that, because then we'll get into a whole bunch of issues about whether this is correct or that is correct. It's a real simple issue for you, and then
To withdraw.
to withdraw, and at a later time, if you decide you want to do an investigation and file it, refile it, or send a letter to the Oregon State Bar, you can. But right now, there's a complaint up there that has your name on it, that you didn't authorize.
Yeah. Yes, and I don't agree with that.
Say your recommendation again. I want to be clear on the motion.
So if the city council so chooses, a motion could be directing your city attorneys to inform the Oregon State Bar that that complaint wasn't on behalf of the city of Oakridge, and you would like that complaint to no longer reflect that the city of Oakridge is the one pursuing such an action.
And as Mr. Dahlstrom said, the complaint will probably go on. The bar has a practice of not allowing complaints to be withdrawn, because what would happen sometimes is an attorney would make a major mistake or do something bad, right? Let's all pretend that's a hypothetical, of course, but that would happen, and someone would file a complaint with the bar, and the attorney would pay to have the complaint dismissed. The bar doesn't want to have complaints dismissed. So once you rung the bell has been rung. All we're doing is informing the bar that the city didn't ring the bell, but the bell has been rung.
Correct.
So is that
Yes,
something,
I understand that.
That's our recommendation.
so that is something that you would put together in the language and then
Yeah.
give to the council for approval?
We can,
Or we
can just do it.
We just sent a letter to the bar that said we've
On
been
our behalf.
authorized by the bar, we're their attorneys, to withdraw the complaint on behalf of the city. We understand that the complaint may go on.
Okay,
it wouldn't be lengthy.
okay.
Yeah.
And we provide copies to everything.
So then a motion would be, that we authorize our city attorneys to send a letter to the Oregon State Bar.
Deleting the city of Oakridge from, as the complainant in the complaint filed against, what is the attorney's name?
Ultimus Pope.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Chrissy.
I'd like to make a motion to withdraw the complaint against Sarah Altimus Pope on behalf of the city of Oakridge, and that we not pursue this. And that we also direct our
I'll second
cities,
that.
Just a minute.
and that we also direct our city attorney to, draft the letter to the Oregon State Bar,
To send the letter.
to send.
Yes, I'll second that.
And Dawn seconds it. Any further discussion? Call for a vote? Oh, you have
Sorry, go
something?
ahead. No.
Okay, let's call for a vote.
Counselor Hallett,
Aye.
Counselor Maxfield,
Aye.
Counselor Forcom,
Aye.
Mayor Holston,
Aye.
Counselor Barenboim,
Aye.
Counselor Whitney,
Aye.
Counselor Hadley,
Aye.
That passes. Thank you, council.
I have one more thing on it.
Yes.
I think something like this, there is an order of a letter of apology due to Sarah Altimus on this. She is a very respected member in our community, and I haven't known Sarah, in the past. This was really my first time working with her this last week, and I saw a very genuine person care about this community, give up at least 12 hours, 12 to 16 hours per day, taking care of our community and leaving, her family at home, as did I. And that takes a really special person, and I'm really saddened that this was put out there like that. And I really think that it's the council's responsibility to make sure that an apology goes out.
I would agree with that.
I agree too when everybody quits laughing or applauding.
So if we have a consensus with the council for that, I would be happy to draft a letter and present it to you, for mailing to her and a, personal apology. Okay, let's move on. Thank you, council.
Yes, that's very important.
Thank you, Don.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, Tricia.
Thanks.
We'll move to 11.6, council to consider direction of city staff to assist new legal counsel with transition into the roles, including the preparation and delivery of all documents requested by the city attorney. And again, I will turn this over to my city attorney.
Thank you. This one should be more brief. This is just to help us transition into the role. Based on the way that your city code is written and your city charter is established, there are some documents that we would like to review, and just having as much cooperation as possible would ease that role. These are documents including copies of the contracting regulations, the personnel regulations, employment letters with public city employees, contracts with independent contractors, including the fire chief, job descriptions of city employees, current active claims with your city insurance. These are things that we would like, just to help us get up to speed. And I think if the council was supporting us in acquiring these documents, it could help ease the transition and maybe save you some money in the process.
So we'll have a bit of a discussion, because I do have a question on this.
Sure.
While this is, I understand the purpose of this, I'm not sure, council typically doesn't direct city staff to do anything because of our charter.
Right.
So how does that work?
And some of this was, to be candid, discussion prior to when we weren't sure how the city administrative role was going to play out. I think some of this could just be a discussion in good faith for a good understanding for the city of Oakridge to work together and help us get up to speed to best represent you all.
Okay.
And as we have that pro tem administrator, city administrator in place, that will ease some of that role too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I could have it,
I might
yes,
add
Mr. Lake.
that we're not asking for anything. Probably 99% of it is public documents already that the
Okay.
public is entitled to.
Right.
I guess in writing the deal, we felt that as your attorneys, we'd just like you to let staff know your comfort level with providing this information to us, so we get it in a timely manner and don't have to come back and say,
What about this?
what about this and what about that?
Right.
And if we get in a situation where we have an issue, then we'll come back and talk to you or talk to the city administrator.
Okay.
But in order for us to do a good job for you, attorneys are only as good as the information they have.
Right.
And
I
we
appreciate
need
that.
information.
I appreciate that. So can we have a consensus with the council that we
Yeah.
agree that it's important for our attorneys to have all the material that they request? And we know that our staff will work with them to provide that material.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, agreed.
Very
Absolutely.
important.
Thank you. Let's see. We don't have an administrator's report, do we, Rick? No, okay, so we're fine. And finance report, we do have an update on the supplemental budget.
Yes, actually this is something that I talked with Phil about and that the outside CPA was taking the lead on. We have been compiling actual revenues and expenditures to date, along with information to create projections for the rest of the fiscal year. We've had the projections, we are putting the projections together, and it'll be, once we have those put together, it'll be a quick process to put together the supplemental budget resolution. If the new interim will be able to be assisting with the projections, it can be a priority for him, then we should be able to present a supplemental budget and have the public hearing on the April 4th meeting. The noticing requirements are what take a little bit of time with that one.
Thank you, thank you. So we'll look for a supplemental budget then with all things being equal by April 4th. Okay, thank you very much.
Didn't you have 11.7 something?
Oh, I did.
11.7.
You're right, I skipped 11.7, forgive me, that's gonna mess it up, Jackie, but 11.7. So I wanna go back to 11.7, an additional council meeting. As you know, I have been in communication with Brenda Wilson at ELCOG, looking for a city administrator. They have found someone that they think is a very good fit. What this process would look like is they will hire her, then we will do a intergovernmental agreement with them to hire that person. That way the contracting will be taken care of on their end. They have identified a woman and have, hold on, I'm getting it. This has been crazy, guys, so forgive me for not being as organized as I should be.
Marcia Miller.
Her name is Marcia Miller. She has a lot of experience and is well recommended. She will be available, we believe, and I'll know for sure tomorrow morning, but she will be available to come and speak with us Monday evening. I would like to ask council's permission to put a meeting on the calendar and get it posted tomorrow for Monday, and as early as on Monday that you can do it. 7 is the time, fine. If it can be earlier, that's fine too. So I would ask for a time for you on Monday.
6, 7,
Yeah,
Okay.
Monday
I think
anytime.
no earlier than 6, just so
Yeah.
much of the
6.
public.
Okay, so Tricia, are you back by Monday?
I'm not back until Tuesday evening.
Could you participate in a teleconference again? We
Yes,
like your voice.
absolutely.
Okay, and Dawn, on Monday, if we say, let's say 6 o'clock
The 6th?
on,
Yes, where we find
Telephone.
by telephone.
by telephone. So that would be Monday,
Yeah.
that would be Monday the
Monday
18th,
on the 18th.
at 6 o'clock PM.
And it's
Okay,
And it will be here in council chambers.
Yep.
Or
Okay.
on the phone. Thank you.
So will this be sort of like a
well,
quasi-interview?
So she'll be here to, yes, and be able to meet her and ask her questions and review the intergovernmental agreement, and then move forward if we choose. Okay,
Is it that we we tentatively told you that it's probably gonna be a public meeting, right? For
Yes.
people here who are interested
Yes.
in that.
Thank you for saying that out loud. That will be a public meeting, everybody. You are all invited. Let's see, we don't have any emergency services reports or police reports. We do, however, if anybody has noticed, we have a big shiny new truck at the fire department, which I understand is a pumper tender. Ha, I got it right. Brand new. This came from a grant that was written some time ago by Tim Whitaker and another person.
Tim wrote it, Jeff is the one that's
Tim.
been.
Tim Whitaker, and then Jeff has been bird dogging it, I'm assuming, and it has come to fruition. It was a grant from FEMA, and so the city had to cough up some money, some 27,000. Huh? 21,000, and I signed the check today for an ungodly amount of, what was that? 6 figures?
$375,424.
Yeah, that's money that they gave us that we're giving back, or moving around again. And I guess there's a little more that still needs to be done on that. So if you'd like to go down, it holds 1,500 gallons of water. So we have a brand new piece of equipment down there, which is pretty amazing. And is there anything else that we need to talk about? Hold on. Events. Chrissy.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I have events?
The retreat.
Oh, the retreat, yes. We have a final, well, not a final agenda, but we have confirmation and a contract for our council retreat on the 19th, right? That's a Friday. We will all be meeting at, council will be meeting at Green Waters Park, in the community room all day, 8 to 5. And we're trying to also arrange for a dinner afterwards where we can all just kind of probably stand, because we'll have sat all day long, and enjoy each other's company and just relax a little bit. This is not a public meeting. This is a retreat for council and for staff, to get training from League of Oregon Cities is coming down to give us some training and inject us with wisdom. So we hope. Anyway. Is there any other oh, yes.
ICS 402.
ICS 402, yes, so, council, I'm supposed to get dates from you. ICS 402 is a training that is being offered by Lane County, and it is, you probably know this better than me, Chrissy.
Patients winning hand with a board and emergency management team.
Right. This is going to be offered to council and staff, right? Council and staff. It helps us have a better understanding of how we use an emergency management team, when we use it, and the details of all that too. If anybody who is in a position, actually, the reason I'm saying this out loud is I see Kent's head nodding. And if that's something you think you would like to participate with, just let us know. We're looking for dates that we can have them come down. This is a 4-hour training. So we are really packed this month, and April is just like slowly filling up between the LOC spring conference. I have actually canceled my attendance at the governor's conference on tourism, because it's just way too much to do, and our retreat also. Are you willing to maybe look at a Saturday? Or, 4 hours, if you start at 5, that means you're not done till.
I think we have more people than just the council that might be interested in, like, some of the faith groups.
Okay.
Kent, I see him shaking his head back there, that he's interested.
Okay.
A couple people from the school.
Okay.
Maybe that could be part of the after-action review stuff, Sarah. So we've got
Could be.
some good community
Okay.
players that can benefit from it.
Johnson?
Just to be clear, the ICS 402 is for elected officials in the CA.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, that is for you guys and your role in the incident command system.
So that's what Patience is looking at as a target for,
Right.
that's us. Okay.
From that, we can have another one that can spread out and bring
Okay.
in other community leaders.
So let's just focus on that then, for now.
Comment
Sarah.
that you guys might want to consider is whether you want to do that training before you have your interagency after action review, because it's going to cover a lot of interagency type stuff at that higher level, or do you want to do it before or after? Do you wanna know more before you go into your after action review, or do you wanna have that after action review, those lessons learned, and then get the training?
Well, I think we wanna have an after action review first, because we need to kind of dump everything we've learned and get it out there, and then I don't wanna wait too long to have this done, because it was obvious that we need more training. So, look at your calendars, if you don't mind. I'm gonna send you all an email and ask for a poll of when you can do this.
Can we do it on a weekend?
We can't, I don't know, do you think patients would do it on a weekend?
I can check.
Okay, all right, so I will send out weekend dates as an option once we find out if that's something that she would do. Okay?
And then there's also the LLC Spring Conference, I think it's on April 16th, it's in Ashland.
Yeah.
It is, and I think, Kirsty, you said you were intending on going,
I've already registered
and
for
you've
it.
registered, so it's April 9th,
19th, is that,
no, that's our,
I thought it was the 16th.
12th,
12th, okay.
April 12th, Friday, going into Saturday, right? Is it a Friday, Saturday thing, or is it just Friday?
It's this Friday.
Okay, so I know, Chrissy, you're going, I'm planning on attending, and council, if you're planning on attending, please let us know, so we can get registered. Is there any other, oh, yes,
1231?
yes, sorry. Thank you, Rick, for keeping me on task. So 12.3.1, engineering estimate for rebuilding of well. Go for it, Rick.
So on February 13th, we discussed looking into the possibility of removing well number 4 from the drinking water system and rebuild well number 2. These two actions are the recommended next steps in reducing the tetrachloride ethylene from the drinking water system. Bringing this is because we had mentioned that we would get you an estimate on what we thought it would take to rebuild well number 2 with the proper equipment that allows it to be a variable flow pump. And that's the key to this, is the variable flow, so it could go from 100 gallons per minute to 500 gallons per minute, thus keeping the chlorinator activated.
Right.
Again, just bringing this to you guys so you get an idea of what the engineer's estimate was, $261,000. And as a disclaimer, even though the closure of well number 4 is the next best steps, I must include the following disclaimer: mapping the exact flows of the aquifer and having a clear understanding of the hydrodynamics that are beneath the ground in our well field is extremely difficult and cost prohibitive. We do not know what the flow changes will occur by this action, and there's no guarantee that TCE will not present itself in another location. We only know that this location is influenced by TCE that is present in the groundwater. So, even though we are pretty confident that this will definitely lower the amounts, there's absolutely, I just don't want anybody thinking this is a guaranteed thing, because I don't want to.
So it's still a crapshoot.
It's a good crapshoot.
Got it. Got it.
It's better than probably what we have, right?
Oh, Lord have mercy. So are you looking, this is discussion only, correct?
Discussion only, I just wanted you guys to, it's kind of a big bill, I understand that, and I just kind of wanted to share that, and we talk about it as we progress.
Okay, okay. So I would suggest, council, that as you read through this and get over the sticker shock, if you have questions, reach out to Rick. And, you know, this is a good one-on-one kind of discussions to help educate yourself as you have. And then we can begin to have
Can
more
the council get a second opinion on the cost of that well, that pump?
Well, I suppose we could for another amount of cost, but we do have an engineer, who.
Oh, I know very much about the engineer, and the reason I say that is I know roughly what it costs to do that. And I think it's quite a bit of money, and I'm willing to look into that as soon as I get out of this hole I'm in.
So what part of that allows you to rest your brain? But I didn't say that out loud. Okay. So since this is a discussion
My
item.
brain don't rest very much.
We know that, Dawn. And we love you because of it. So discussion only, and like I said, ask questions. And Dawn, you are welcome to call Rick and have further discussions about that and how you can help assist us. Is there anything else, Rick?
I would be appreciated.
Okay, there's a 6.3 here? Was that, I think that just.
Oh, no, okay, so the 6.3 you see in your packet.
Oh, I see, it's just
was-
part of the other
was
thing.
from, February 13th, I just so
Okay.
that you all didn't have to, go find your February
Oh.
13th packet, it was, that.
How considerate, thank you, I appreciate that. Bobby, did you have something you wanted to say?
The only thing about the well is I was wondering where the money would come from and if there's
We have
grants
money.
available for that sort of thing.
Rick?
That's a good question.
That is a very good question.
Yes, and we, at this point, grants and loans would be something that we would have to look into.
Right, so
And
I think the question is also, this isn't part of the budgeted money for this
This is not
project.
part of the
This is
budgeted money.
over and above the budgeted money for this project, so.
Yes, this is separate, yeah, this is separate from the current existing
Okay.
water project, it's clearly separate, but, it should have been built into, into upcoming projects is really what it should,
Okay.
because this well is on its last leg, it has been running for a long time, and we need to consider rebuilding it before it breaks, cause if it
Right.
breaks and we have to rebuild it when it's broken, it could cost more.
Cost even more.
That just makes sense, we need to
All right.
get ahead of this.
Thank
So
you.
behind it.
Since we're
Yes,
talking
Bob.
about, where are we at with the test well?
The test well, we have to do a rate study, which is being done right at the moment. I is requesting a rate study.
What's
Before you-
what is a rate study?
A rate study is, they are comparing our, what we're getting from our rates and how that compares to our ability to pay the loan. So they require a rate study before they release that. So, Harvard is working on that.
So that's the first time I've heard of that.
It just came to me the other day.
Okay.
And Ed's working on it.
Okay, so at a later meeting, you'll talk to us about what that means and educate us more. Thank you for the education. Council, do you have anything you would like to comment on?
Kind of,
Okay.
so, I know you're drafting an apology letter.
Yes.
And at one of our more recent meetings, we had another kind of similar issue, but with a staff person. Do you think it would be good to address an apology letter for her, Martin?
That would be up to council. I know we made a public statement and it's in the minutes. But if that's something you would like to propose to council?
I feel it's important to support staff as well as our community, so, to me, I felt that would be an important thing to do also.
Council, how do you feel about that? No comments? Okay, well, you're welcome to bring it up again or talk to me. I know we made a public apology, it's in our minutes. He was here, I'm, turn it to you and you're all welcome to do it on your own if you choose. You have that right and privilege. Community, do you have any further questions? Lauren?
I just wondered, are you backing away from investigating how that letter insulted the police and chief
No.
of police?
Actually, and that's a very good question, Lauren. In the absence of the city administrator who is pursuing that, I really don't have I can say to you, no, we're not backing away, but I can't tell you any more than that
I
because
understand.
I'm.
Please don't back away, it's kind of an insult to the
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you for that. Any other comments? All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned.